So it's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm feeling great and it's a great day today. I'm going to talk about, what happened yesterday, right? Yesterday I had the biggest episode in the podcast, the longest episode, not biggest in terms of views, but the longest episode was 3 hours and 25 minutes. I had my first guest on, my good friend Ryver, and he's leaving soon. So it was a great opportunity for us to record something together, and we talked about a lot of things. I'm going to kind of reflect on that a little bit, maybe give you some previews. And when you're done watching this one, this episode won't be anywhere near as long as that one. Like, I was expecting to do like a 2-hour thing. It ended up being way longer because I guess we just got into that flow of the conversation, which is super good. But when you're done watching this, I encourage you to go watch that episode that I made with him. We talked about so many things. If you love podcasts, you love like just the generic kind of podcast, long, just Joe Rogan-esque type of thing where you're just talking about a bunch of different things. Obviously heavily God focused, but that's how it always is around here because my mission is to glorify God. I would encourage you to go and watch that episode once you're done watching this video. I'm just going to quickly reflect over it. Basically, it was long, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Lots of words were said. I enjoyed it. The editing process was grueling, but I got it out super late in the day. And well, I'm just going to say a disclaimer. Like, I said some things. We both probably said some things that maybe took it a little too far. Like, we probably were on edge with a few of the things we talked about. And we got very deep and maybe a little bit too personal. So I just want to give you a little disclaimer about that. That, literally, like, it's just two dudes talking. It literally is like, that was exactly how a conversation between me and him would go if we weren't recording. We just decide, put some microphones on and turn the camera on, right? So just a disclaimer that, like, if there's stuff in there that's maybe a little bit extreme or satirical, trying to be funny, or just, I make a mistake in something I say, or I don't quote some source correctly, like, don't hold either of us to it for the flame. We're just trying to have a good conversation. And it was a very good conversation, very entertaining, and it was very fun to record. But I'm just putting that little disclaimer there. I know, we talked about, like, we went as deep as to, like, reveal our own, like, lusts and faults and, masturbation. I'll just say it. We like 2 hours in or so, we kind of get to that point where we're talking about that. So I just want to give you like a disclaimer. Maybe we go a little too far on certain things. We make it a little bit too personal. But I guess that's the vulnerability of it. That's the entertaining side of it. So I hope you enjoy. But, just kind of, just saying that, like, don't take anything that we say to heart, and don't, like, don't castrate us for anything we might have said. Like, we are just two dudes bouncing ideas off each other, trying to do better. No one's perfect. But, like, we're also trying to be funny, trying to make it as entertaining as possible, which we did throughout, and many great things. I'm going to try and make a good clip about it later today, so that you can get, you or whoever wants to watch it has an even better preview of what actually happened. I'm going to do my best. Obviously, 3.5 hours. I have to scour through the video and the footage to find, like, good clips and funny moments about it. But the point is, literally take everything we said with the tiniest grain of salt. Like, don't even like we're trying to help. I think we had a very good conversation about spirituality, about God, about how to explain God. But maybe as you get to, like, the 2-hour point, we start to get a little bit, we diverge a little bit, let's say. But up until that point, sure. But especially later on in episodes, and, I want to do longer podcast episodes. Like, you'll find as the audience member that, first 2 hours are probably better. And then as you get into the third hour and, hopefully not, but the fourth hour and beyond, you start to kind of, lose that feel for it. You lose your head a little bit. You get too confident and you start talking about things that maybe shouldn't be talked about. But hey, I've left it all in. So just for your entertainment and just for your enjoyment, I've left it all in. But I'm just giving you that disclaimer that, probably said a few things that were controversial. He probably said a few things that were controversial. We probably took things too far on certain things. Just enjoy it. Look at the positives. Have a laugh. Have a good time. Be entertained. If you want to use it to fall asleep, go ahead, go do that. But, me personally, I set way too high standards and I have to do better. Like, I'm a little bit disappointed that the audio was messed up. Like my audio was significantly, maybe not noticeable. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't actually watch it from start to finish. But my audio was significantly lower than Ryver's audio, and that kind of it leaves it a bit bitter. But I'm just gonna again just leave it. It's one of those things where it's like it's a tiny little issue. Like that that quote from, I mean, most of you probably don't, but I'll just enlighten you. That quote from Chris Williamson, Modern Wisdom podcast, where on his drink, I'm not going to promote it, but on his drink, there's like a little label, and like he noticed that it was slightly off center, and it's one of those like OCD moments, right? And that's just an example, and that's kind of how I feel. That's how I relate to me kind of being pissed about the sound being so different between my audio and his audio. But it's not the end of the world, truly. I think it still makes for a very good episode. Again, on budget episode. This isn't like a multi-million subscriber podcast, but I still think it was very good content, and that's why this video is basically just me saying, like, go watch the other one. At the end of I'll put it in the cards. At the end of the video, I'm gonna, I'll be linked to it. It'll be there. You can just click on it and go watch it. But just some important things to note, right? Is exactly that what I've just said. And also the audio situation, like if my audio is actually a problem, like, sorry, nothing I can do about it. 3.5 hours, it was already super long to figure out. I can't really adjust and edit the audio like that. So, you're just going to have to deal with it. I think it's fine, but if it's that big of a problem, well, I'm sorry, my bad, right? But that's the point, is that it was a super good episode, super entertaining, and, super draining, but it's all good. That's why today is a little bit lighter, a little bit more chill. Like, I'm not going to go deep on some crazy topics because we did like 5 days worth of going deep on certain topics yesterday. So, call that the marketing of it. Like, if you want like 5 of these episodes in one big gulp, that is what we did yesterday. So in the future of this show, especially after how good yesterday was, I plan to make longer episodes, right? If you're really that guy that's interested in longer form podcast episodes, I'm going to plan on making episodes like more longer episodes, at least over an hour. Maybe I don't want to get to 3 hours. Like in between 1 and 2 hours is probably the sweet spot for podcast episodes. So, if you like that type of longer form content, I want to make more of it. So I plan on doing that. And also, like, of course, I want to have more guests on because, even if I'm not trying to have like famous people on. It's going to start with just being people around me. Like he's an interesting guy, which is very cool, but it was an interesting conversation too. And I plan to have more interesting conversations with people, whether in here, in the specific room, or in other areas because, we organize some things. Again, I'm not going to spoil too much, but there are going to be some good things coming soon. Almost certain. So that's kind of my little spiel for today. Reflecting on yesterday was great. We talked about so many things. I don't even want to spoil it for you because it was so, like, there's just so much in there, so much content actually in there. We talk about our stories, but then we get super philosophical, again, religious, talking about spirituality and God and Jesus and quoting the Bible and all that kind of stuff. It was great. So many great angles to take. And then we have some funny moments, some things where we diverge a little bit onto other topics that get a little bit controversial, but it's all good. That's the fun of it. And, I'm putting it out there, right? I'm not editing it, right? The only edits I made was when my phone died or like the audio got cut off in a very bad way. Like truly, those were the only edits I made. And there was one specific segment I took out because he didn't want it in there. But that was it. Like it was 3 hours, 25 minutes. I think the full recording was like maybe 3:35, maybe at the most. So like you get a lot of it. You're going to see so much amazing things in it. So go watch it, right? Go ahead and go watch it right now. I'm ending this episode. I'm wrapping this one up right now. I'm kind of bringing it home right now. I think in the future, I want to do an episode on sleep because sleep is a big thing. Everyone wants to have good sleep. So I think it would be a beneficial episode to make where I talk about my sleep habits and what I do wrong and what I want to do better or how to do better when it comes to getting good sleep at night. So I think that's a good one, good little masterclass like episode that I want to make. expect to see that in the next couple of days. But until then, you got a very, very big, just spectacular, content-filled, jam-packed episode that we made yesterday. It's not on Spotify because it's honestly so long, so you can only watch it on YouTube. I literally couldn't upload it to Spotify because it was too long. Like it kept giving me errors. So it's only on YouTube. So go watch it. Go watch it now. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it right there or somewhere. One of these areas, you're gonna see it. So go watch it. I appreciate you for being a part of it. Subscribe to the podcast. Continue to glorify God in all that you do. Thank you so much for watching.